While most rich celebrities are buying houses that will bring them into a bright future, Post Malone is buying one that will help him survive the literal apocalypse. If you were imagining that Post Malone would have some kind of creepy concrete mess of a bunker, don't worry. His bunker is a lot less 10 Cloverfield Lane and a lot more MTV's Cribs. Well, the Walking Dead version of Cribs, maybe. The interior of this home is truly amazing. It has these sharp angles everywhere, this really fine furniture, and a cool futuristic vibe in every single room. Seriously, it kind of reminds me of that house from the movie Ex Machina. All it needs is Oscar Isaac disco dancing in the corner. It has an expansive living room with a curved couch, a raised ceiling, and a home office. Even the kitchen is enormous and beautiful, with a giant kitchen island and cabinet space to feed yourself for the next 100 years. The bedrooms are no joke either. Giant beds with thick windows showing nature all around you with a cool black and red color scheme, and a bathroom in the next room with a beautiful onyx marble bathtub. And if bathtubs aren't your thing, there's a shower right next to it. Assuming the outdoors aren't a nuclear wasteland that it's unsafe to step into, this home has some wonderful outdoor activities available. For instance, there's a nice pool complete with its own diving board. There's also some beautiful outdoor seating for a lovely afternoon lunch, so long as the Geiger counter says it's okay. All around the home is pristine Utah mountains and nature on all sides. The property leads into thousands of acres of conservation land, so it's likely to look just that beautiful apocalypse or not. When you're fighting off zombies, raiders, and any death claws on a daily basis, you gotta be in pretty good shape. Luckily, Post Malone installed a fully stocked home gym, complete with areas for weightlifting and other areas with treadmills or bikes for keeping that cardio up. Anyone who has seen Zombieland knows how important cardio will be. What about the rest of us? While this home looks great for him to survive whatever monstrous catastrophe he thinks is waiting, it doesn't help anyone else. Don't worry though, because he's got your back. Well, so long as you're one of his top 60 best friends. He said that he plans to make his home something of a refuge. Specifically, he outlined his strategy of setting up like 30 bunk beds, which could act as something of an apocalyptic hostel. Well, apocalyptic hostel or apocalyptic cult. We'll see which way he ultimately decides to go with that one. If you had any plans to become best friends with Post Malone, now is the time to enact them, before it's too late. So how much is his personal dream house for everyone else's nightmare? Just look at this beautiful home. It looks like the sort of place you'd pick up in California that could go for over $1 million. This one also happens to be prepped for any disaster you could imagine. So that means it's an already expensive mansion in the mountains with huge added expenses on top of that. Altogether, this was said to have cost him a whopping $3,093,750. No one said living through the end of the world was gonna be cheap, though I bet it's still cheaper than other celebrities who plan to live on Mars. What's truly hilarious about all this is the LLC he purchased the home under. It was literally called Wow Cool House. Yeah, he's taking the apocalypse really seriously. So, did this purchase just come out of nowhere? Did Post Malone just watch This Is the End and think, I gotta be prepared for that? Not exactly. You see, it's not zombies, nuclear Armageddon, or environmental catastrophe that he's really worried about. For years, he's been consumed with the idea that the government will create some kind of post-apocalyptic nightmarescape. That is not an exaggeration. In his own words, he said, move somewhere, because whenever martial law is declared, whenever your credit cards fail, whenever your banks fail, you have 3 days to get out of where you are, because that's when they're coming for you. That's the big move. That's checkmate right there, and they think they have you. He also advocated for people to build giant roads around their house so that they can see the government coming from all directions. This is pretty out of touch even by conspiracy standards. In order to actually survive this incoming catastrophe, evidently you'd need millions of dollars to build your own bunker and the roads to go along with them. That's just fantastic advice for the average person working minimum wage. While you might think he's terrified of the apocalypse, honestly, it seems like he's more than a little excited for it. He's talked about how things are gonna go full cowboy with people roaming empty grocery stores, packing heat to defend yourself against the other survivors, and that evil government army, of course. He literally said, "I can't wait." So yeah, Post Malone actually just watched Escape from New York and decided he needed to be prepared for that. While it might seem like Post Malone is a bit of a post-apocalyptic conspiracy theorist, he's actually not alone in the world of celebrities preparing for the end of days in style. For instance, we have legendary fighter Ronda Rousey. Her doomsday plan seems to be a lot less giant bunker to ward off Borderlands-style raiders and more post-apocalyptic Stardew Valley. Her and her husband built a charming ranch in Riverside, California, called Browsey Acres. It's a fully self-sufficient property, complete with chicken coops, farming spaces, and more. The average price for land of this size in this area is around $5 million. This is by far the cutest apocalypse I've ever seen. Be honest, the second that I mentioned that other celebrities had doomsday bunkers, you just knew that we were going to talk about Kanye West. While his Wyoming ranches are all rumored to have doomsday bunkers in them, his concrete Malibu home is reported to be apocalypse-proof for the man who wants to live out Armageddon in style. His end of days paradise is worth $57.3 million. This turned out to be a brilliant purchase because now he has somewhere to hide out from the post-apocalyptic wreckage of his career. If there's anyone you'd want to live through the end of the world with, it's Rihanna. Luckily, she's got her very own fortress that could withstand pretty much anything. Getting in would be pretty impossible though. In order to get through this rental fortress, one needs a key fob for each and every room. While most rooms look luxurious and beautiful, it also has a concrete disaster room that could withstand pretty much everything. It cost her $60,000 in rent, but for her, it was probably worth that much for the privacy alone. I imagine they give you a discount if the apocalypse actually does come. Evidently, this trend is growing a lot more than we think. For obvious reasons, most people don't really advertise the fact that they built a giant private fortress, especially not one that's under their house. The rumor is that celebrities such as Kim Kardashian and Tom Cruise also have multi-million-dollar apocalypse condos of their own. Wonder how many houses we've seen on this channel secretly have one of these in the basement. Do you think Post Malone will keep recording music through the apocalypse? Maybe that's when he'll peak.